For those of you that are new to Design N Quilt or are thinking about purchasing the software, this tutorial will show you how to draft a simple pieced block using Design N Quilt. In Design N Quilt, there are two options for pieced blocks. One is to create an easy block, and the other is to create an advanced block. Now, I found through a little bit of trial and error that the easy block is not going to work for the block that I want to draft because the V block cannot be created out of just squares, rectangles, half square triangles, and quarter square triangles. So I need to go to create advanced block. Now, the first thing I'm seeing is I want to change this to 6 by 6. And so under my toolbars, I'm going to select Properties, because Properties is where you change the size of the block. So I'm going to change that to 6 by 6 and select Apply. And the other thing that I needed to do, because I couldn't find any place to adjust my snap settings, what I found was that is under Program Preferences, and then under Grid, it's asking how you want the grids set up and how you want to show the grids, but most important, there is an option for Snap to Grid, Snap to Guidelines, and Snap to Anchors. So we're going to select Snap to Grid. Under Style, I'm going to switch to Show Grid as Dashed Lines, and then in the drop-down under Grid Major, I'm going to change to yellow so that I have a contrast to the lines that I am drawing, and select OK. Then to draw lines, you need to use the Block Line tool. Now, because we had turned on Snap to Grid, we can draw vertical lines at -1 and at 1, and horizontal lines at -1 and 1. That's how we create the 9 patch. If we had not turned on the Snap to Grid, the lines would not have been perfectly horizontal and vertical. So that is super, super critical here. Then we can draw the diagonal line followed by the square in the upper left corner. And in the adjoining patch, draw the V unit. There is not an option to select, clone, and rotate. So we will need to actually just draw the units in each of the squares. Okay, so now to color this, we're going to have to bring in some fabrics. So I will, under the Expand pop-up palette, select Fabrics and select Add. Then I will navigate to where I stored the images on my computer, which actually happened to be under My EQ8 Images. For the Moda collection called Winter Flurries, I am going to, with the Shift key on the keyboard, select the first and last of the first 6 fabrics and select Open. Select Add and scroll down, and with the Shift key on your keyboard, select the first and last of the second group of fabrics and select Open. Okay, let me find a place to move the palette so that I can see the actual block. Select Piece Select, and with the Control or Command key on your keyboard, select each of the patches that you want to color with a particular fabric. And then in the pop-up palette, I can select the fabric. Repeat that process for each of the other groups of patches that you want to recolor. I'm actually finding it a little difficult to addition the fabrics because I don't have a way to see a bigger image of the actual fabrics. And then I can close my pop-up palette. There is not a way to fussy cut in this program, at least I have not been able to find one. At this point, I would select the Save option, but since I only have a trial version, I'm not going to be able to do that. I am also not able to show you the cutting chart. In fact, I have no clue what the cutting chart is going to look like, but that is only available for the purchased version of the software. So I am going to show you foundation piecing, however. Select Auto Assign, and the program will automatically section. Unfortunately, it didn't do a very good job on the sectioning. This is not even close to how I would like to put things together. So instead, I'm going to select Manual Assign. Select each of the pieces that I want in a section, and then select New Section. And I can look at it with the block colors. And again, if I had some export capabilities, I could show you a preview, but I don't, so I can't show you anything more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and close. I hope this tutorial gave some insight into drafting a block using Design N Quilt. And make sure to also watch the related video on how to do exactly the same block using Electric Quilt 8.